Have you ever trusted someone so deeply, only to be left broken? You gave them your heart, your time, your loyalty, and in return, they promised you forever. But when forever came knocking, they weren't there. This is not just my story. This is the story of so many people who loved with all their heart, but ended up betrayed. She promised me forever, but left me for someone else. And that pain, it changes you. But today, I'm not here just to talk about heartbreak. I'm here to share the lessons behind the pain, the truth about love, trust, and most importantly, self-respect. Because heartbreak doesn't have to destroy you. It can build you into someone stronger, wiser, and ready for the real love you truly deserve. So if you've ever been left wondering, why wasn't I enough? Stay with me. This story might just change the way you see love and the way you see yourself.
Have you ever met someone who felt like they were meant to be in your life? That's exactly how it started for me. I wasn't looking for anything serious, but then she appeared. She was different. At least, that's what I believed. She wasn't just beautiful, she was kind. She listened to me in ways no one else ever had. When I talked, she didn't just hear words, she understood the emotions behind them. And in a world where people barely look up from their phones, that kind of attention feels priceless. At first, I thought it was just casual, just two people sharing conversations. But slowly, it became something deeper. She told me things like, "I've never felt this safe with anyone before," and "You're not like the others. I could see myself with you forever." And those words, they're dangerous, because they're the kind that wrap around your heart and convince you to trust without doubt. I started opening up more. I shared my dreams, my fears, even the parts of me I usually hide. And she embraced it all, or at least it seemed that way. Looking back now, maybe I was blinded by hope. But at the time, it felt magical. We weren't just two people dating. We were building something real. At least, that's what I believed. She promised me forever. And when someone says that with such certainty in their eyes, you believe it. You hold on tight. You let yourself fall. Because who wouldn't want to believe in a love that feels so pure? The beginning was everything I thought I had been searching for. But sometimes the most beautiful beginnings are the ones that hide the most painful endings. You know, when I look back now, the signs were always there. They weren't loud, they weren't obvious, but they were there. Quiet whispers, red flags waving softly in the background. At first, she was everything I thought I wanted, but slowly, little things began to feel off. She would disappear for hours without explaining. Her phone, once left on the table without care, was suddenly always face down. She started guarding it, as if it held secrets she didn't want me to see. Sometimes, I'd ask, "Is everything okay?" And she'd smile. But that smile felt hollow, like she was hiding behind it. And I convinced myself I was overthinking. Because when you're in love, you don't want to believe the person you trust could ever hurt you. There were moments when she grew distant, less affectionate, less present. Yet, when I confronted her, she'd tell me she loved me, that I was her world. And those words, those sweet, carefully chosen words, were enough to silence the voice inside me that screamed something was wrong. And here's the painful truth. Most of us see the red flags, but we choose to ignore them. Why? Because loneliness tricks us into believing half love is better than no love. Because our desire for affection blinds us to reality. And sometimes, because our ego whispers that we're the exception, that she'll change for us, that her promises really mean forever. I told myself that every relationship has ups and downs. That maybe she was stressed, maybe she just needed space. I buried my doubts under excuses because it was easier to believe in the dream than face the possibility of betrayal. But little did I know, those small cracks I ignored were the beginning of the end. The foundation of trust was already crumbling, and I was too blinded by hope to see it. This is where the story shifts.
From love that felt eternal, to the quiet storm that was about to break everything apart.
You know, sometimes the people we love the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest. For me, the moment of betrayal came so suddenly, it felt like the ground was pulled right from beneath my feet. I still remember the day. It wasn't anything dramatic at first. She had been acting a little distant, replying later than usual, her voice sounding colder whenever we spoke. I told myself she was just busy, maybe stressed, maybe tired. I didn't want to believe otherwise. But the truth came crashing in. I found out she wasn't just pulling away, she was walking away entirely. She had chosen someone else, someone she claimed was just a friend. And in that moment, every promise of forever, every "I'll never leave you," every "you're my only one," turned to ash. The shock was unbearable. I remember staring at the message, the proof, my hands trembling, my chest so heavy I could barely breathe. How could the person I gave my heart to, the one who swore to protect it, be the same person to shatter it? Anger rushed in, then sadness, then confusion. I replayed every moment in my head, every laugh, every kiss, every late night call. Was it all a lie? Did she ever really love me? Or was I just a temporary comfort until she found someone else? The hardest part wasn't even losing her. It was losing myself in the process. I started questioning my own worth. Was I not good enough? Did I do something wrong? Why wasn't I enough for her to stay? And yet, what hurt the most was the contrast. The way her words and her actions were worlds apart. She promised forever, but forever, for her, was shorter than I ever imagined. That's when reality hit me. Love without loyalty is just an illusion, and her forever was nothing more than a beautiful lie. When she left, the silence was louder than any argument we had ever had. Her absence wasn't just emotional, it was financial, mental, and spiritual. I had invested so much into her, not just money, but dreams. The dinners, the late night drives, the small gifts, the plans for the future. Everything felt like wasted effort. It wasn't about the money itself. It was about the intention behind it. Every penny was given with love. And now it all felt like I had been paying for an illusion. But the financial cost was nothing compared to the emotional one. Nights became longer. Sleep felt impossible. I replayed every conversation, every promise, every forever she whispered to me. I asked myself, was it real to her, even for a moment, or was it all an act? The hardest part wasn't losing her, it was losing myself. My confidence was shattered. I started questioning my own worth. Was I not good enough? Was I too much, or maybe not enough? These thoughts poisoned my mind, but as painful as it was, the aftermath forced me to face the truth. It was never about love, it was about gain. She didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as a stepping stone, a comfort, a source of validation until something better came along. And that realization, it broke me, but it also freed me. Because once you understand that someone's betrayal says more about them than it does about you, you stop carrying their sins on your shoulders. The aftermath was painful, yes, but it was also the beginning of something else. Something stronger, something more real, the chance to rebuild myself, piece by piece, without depending on someone else's promises. When the dust finally settled, I realized something powerful. Yes, she broke me. Yes, she betrayed me. But the real tragedy would be if I stayed broken. Because pain is not just punishment, it can also be a teacher. At first, I blamed myself. I replayed every moment in my head. Maybe if I had been richer, smarter, or more exciting, she would have stayed. But then it hit me. Someone who truly loves you doesn't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be real. And I was real. She wasn't. That's not my failure, that's hers. I'd also learned something about red flags. You see, betrayal rarely comes out of nowhere. There are always little signs, distant conversations, shifting priorities, words that don't match actions. I ignored them because I didn't want the truth. I wanted the fairy tale. But ignoring reality doesn't protect you. It only delays the heartbreak. So I decided to turn this pain into growth. I started focusing on myself again. My career, my health, my peace of mind. Instead of asking, why wasn't I enough for her? I asked, why wasn't she enough for me? That shift in mindset changed everything. And slowly, life started to look brighter. I realized the betrayal was actually a blessing in disguise. Imagine if she stayed longer, wasted more years, drained more of my love and trust. Maybe I'd be in an even darker place. Her leaving wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of a better one. So here's the lesson I want to share with you. Don't give your heart to someone who only offers empty promises. Don't ignore the red flags just because you crave connection. And most importantly, don't let betrayal define you. Let it refine you. Because at the end of the day, true love doesn't hurt. True love doesn't abandon. True love doesn't promise forever and then run away when things get tough. So if someone leaves you, let them go. Your story doesn't end there. In fact, it might just be the chapter where you finally find yourself. Sometimes the people we give our everything to leave us with nothing but lessons. And as painful as betrayal is, it teaches us the most important truth: to value ourselves first. This isn't just the end of a love story. It's the beginning of self-respect, growth, and strength. If you've ever felt broken by someone you trusted, remember, healing starts with you. Thank you for watching. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real stories and life lessons.